We've all seen them, right? These really elegant online fashion boutiques, they pop up in your feed, promise this timeless style, amazing service, great deals.
Exactly.
So today we're doing a deep dive into one of them, a site called Ivy and Cole Charleston. We're going to see if that, sleek digital look actually matches what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, to see if the promise holds up.
Our mission is really to test that promise because the Ivy and Cole website, I mean, it looks fantastic. They give you all the right signals.
Oh, absolutely. They're assuring you of legitimacy.
Right. Things like a 30-day money-back guarantee, free UPS shipping, easy returns. You look at it and you think, okay, this is a real established retailer.
It does, and that's the modern challenge, isn't it? What's so fascinating here is the immediate contrast you see the moment you run a third-party check.
It's a huge
The
contrast.
whole thing just relies on the trust that polished design creates.
Yeah.
But the actual data, well, tells a very, very different story.
Let's get into those hard numbers from the source material because they are pretty jarring. Scam Detector reported a really low trust score. And even more telling, Griddensoft, which, really digs into domain history and malware risks, gave Ivy and Cole Charleston a reputation score of just 8?
8 out of 100?
8 out of 100.
Wow. That score, it doesn't just mean you might get a bad sweater. It points to a serious risk of your order never showing up or even payment fraud.
Right.
But here's the critical question. The sources also describe the domain as brand new.
Hmm.
So is it possible that this, rock bottom score is just reflecting a lack of history and not necessarily malice?
That's a fair question. You have to interrogate that. But the data seems to suggest it's more than just being new.
Okay.
Usually, if a new domain has legitimate ownership, clean infrastructure, its score would be neutral, not, basically 0. And 8 out of 100 suggests that some pretty serious flags have already been raised, way beyond just its age.
Exactly. And that brings us to the transparency issue, which is huge.
Mm.
So while they're promising all this excellent service, the source material points out a worrying lack of clarity about who actually owns the business.
You can't find it.
And when you put those two things together, the severe risk scores and this completely opaque ownership, the picture gets a lot darker.
It really does. And this opacity, it makes their customer reviews feel even more suspect.
Ah, the internal reviews.
Yes. On their own site, they're showing off these really positive testimonials, 4.7 stars on a pullover, for example.
Right.
We see these reviews, but we have to remember, these are the easiest things in the world to fake internally.
It's a classic tactic for high-risk sites.
Yeah.
They just substitute the hard, expensive work of getting real outside validation like, reviews on Trustpilot or Google with this easy-to-fake internal stuff. It keeps the elegant facade looking perfect while it masks the fact that there's no real customer experience data. You just have their word for it, and that's it.
So when we put those three things together, these shockingly low scores, the unverified internal reviews, and the hidden ownership, the conclusion the analysts drew is pretty clear:
What did they say?
that Ivy and Cole Charleston feels more risky than trustworthy.
No surprise there.
So what does this all mean for you if you're tempted by a great deal on a site that looks just like this one?
What's the takeaway?
Well, the source material gives some practical advice. If you still choose to go for it, order something small, a low-value item. And this is crucial. Pay with a method that protects you, like a credit card, not a direct bank transfer, and just, be prepared for things to maybe not go so smoothly.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the lesson is universal, I think. Sophistication in a website's design is no longer a good proxy for business legitimacy.
Not at all.
We're at a point where it's cheap and easy to make a website look like a luxury brand, even if the logistics, the customer service, the actual business are all completely non-existent.
And that's the knowledge you really need to take away from this. So here's the final thought for you to chew on. In an age where these digital storefronts are so easy to create, where elegance can just be a mask, how do we develop our own personal system, our own mental Griddensoft score to assess that hidden trustworthiness of a business before we ever click checkout?